Hi, this is Mike from Easy Business App, and today I'm here to talk to you all about processing bank transactions in Easy Cashflow. And we're going to show you today three main things: how to categorize, how to match, and what to do with those transactions where you're just not quite sure what to do with them. We'll also look a little bit about what ins and outs are in Easy Business App and the relationship between all of these things. So let's dive in. So the first thing is, I'll jump into our web app here, but everything I'm showing you today, you can do exactly the same functionality on our iOS app and also on our Android app. And I'm here in Easy Cashflow in the main screen bank transactions, and this is where I can link up my bank accounts and credit cards and suck in transactions, bring them into Easy Business App, and then process them so I can get a full view of every single cent that I've spent in my business. Could you do this manually? Yes, you could. Would it be very tedious to maintain a manual list of every single cent that you spend? Yes. So that's why we've built this functionality. Now, you can add as many bank accounts and credit cards as you like in Easy Business App, and we don't charge you extra for those additional ones. So we can see there's a few accounts connected here. This is just test data. None of this is real. I'm on the bank transaction screen. I'm looking at one particular account, and I've just narrowed in using the date function up here just to a smaller date range, just to get a smaller number of transactions for us to look at. So I can see 3 transactions here, which are all on my to-do list. And that's because I'm on here, the unmatched tab. There are some other tabs here, which I'll show you a little bit later, but this is kind of my to-do list of things that I need to go through and do. So what I'm going to do is categorize first, then match, and then use this not sure functionality. So why don't we do that? Let us categorize one of these transactions. Let's look at this Bunnings receipt here. So we've got a receipt here for $49.64 for Bunnings, so we can click on that. This brings me through to the categorize screen, and we can see the information at the top is repeated, $49.64, and it suggested a category for me. Oftentimes this is right, but if it's not and I want to change it, I can come into here. I can choose a category that reflects it. Let's say I bought a hammer drill, and we can use tools as the category here. If there isn't a category, these are fully customizable, so we have a good standard selection of categories here, but you can also create new ones. In this case, the GST will say is correct. I'm going to type the supplier in, it's Bunnings, and just as a note to myself, I'm going to say, well, this was a hammer drill. I can also attach a photo here. If I do have a receipt, we'll just use an example of a receipt here just so you can see the process. So it's uploading that, and now I've got an absolutely full record for my of everything for that transaction. If I come ahead and save it, it's disappeared. Not to fear, it's come off my to-do list because it's been done. If I flip to the All tab, we should see when that loads. Oh look, here it is again, the Bunnings one. It's come through now, it's flagged as categorized, and if I click on it, I can see everything that I just saw before. I've got the receipt again, how it was categorized, everything about it. If I've made a mistake, dead simple, I can just choose to unmatch, and it will reset everything to the way it was before. So in this case, it will just remove all the categorizations, remove everything. It's back in my all list here. It should be back in my unmatched one as well. I can come into it again, and I can do something else, or in this case I'll just do the same thing again, and that's it. So that's how we categorize a transaction. And let's look at the next thing now, which is, well, what else is there to do? I've got something else here. I've got somebody's paid me for an invoice for $2,000, so I'm going to click on that, and what we're going to see here is the functionality we call matching. Now you'll notice I've come to a similar screen but a slightly different view. There's actually 2 tabs here which you can switch between. We just always take you to the one which is the best fit. In this case, I've received a payment for $2,000, and the system has identified what it thinks is a matching invoice for around the same date and for the same value. And this is actually correct. I can double check this by just clicking on the little arrow here, and it will take me straight through into Easy Invoicing. I can actually see the invoice here that we've created, all the details about it. And I can go, yes, this is the correct invoice. I can come back into Easy Cashflow again, simply check the box and choose to save the match. Again, it's disappeared from my unmatched list. Great, that's because I've done something with it. You can see it's updated here, $2,000 incoming. If I click on it, we can see it's been matched against the customer, Jane, and her invoice number 1. Again, if I want to come back to this, I can just click on it, remind myself what it was that's been going on here. So this is the functionality of categorizing and matching. So basically with Easy Cashflow, this is the process you need to do. You go through each of your items on your bank statement and you say, what is it? Does it relate to something I've already created? In which case I'll match it, like to an invoice or to a payslip if I've paid my staff. Or is it something which we haven't seen before, in which case let's categorize it and put it into the correct category. There's some much more advanced functionality here as well. What if you want to say split something? What if you have something, in this case Kohl's, maybe some of it's office supplies, but maybe only $100 of it is office supplies. I want to put a bit of it somewhere else. Well, I can do that. There's a split to multiple button. I can split it between two different categories, like we can see here. I can keep it going. I can split as many times as I want. And I can also do things like assign things as personal expenses. So there's really great functionality here to really handle what you want. And you can always add a description, you can always add a receipt, so you can always keep track of exactly what's happened. But there's one other thing I just want to show you here, which is what do you do when you're not sure? You're working through your list, you go through, but there's just a couple of transactions and you don't know quite what to do with them. This is really common when you're running a business, right? You might know how to do 80% or even 90% of it, but sometimes there's a transaction you don't quite know what you should do with it. Should it be split? Is some of it personal? Like, what's the GST handling for it? This is why we work with bookkeepers, why we work with advisors, accountants who can help us with these things. So we've built this directly into Easy Cashflow. This last button here, which is I'm not sure how to categorize this. So if you're really not sure what it is, you simply click on this. You can add a note for your bookkeeper. So you can say, I don't know, maybe took a client out for beers. Is this deductible? Don't know. We can again add the receipt. We've got a receipt here from, and it will put everything together now. I've got the receipt, I've got a note. I can save this. And what this will do is, it's disappeared from my to-do list. It's gone into the third tab, the I'm not sure tab. And this is where we are putting things for our accountant to look at. So we can see there's a couple of transactions in there now, one for Kohl's and one for Brewdog. So this is how we, this is all the functionality basically within bank transactions. We've got our unmatched items, we've got everything. We work through our unmatched, we categorize, we match, or we mark things as not sure. Okay, so that's the sort of core essence of this bank transaction screen. But it doesn't always work this way, right? Let's say we are out and about, we are at a petrol station, in our van, we're filling up, we filled up our van, we've got the receipt in our hand right now. What do we do with that? Well, the best thing you can actually do is to log it there and then. Yes, you could wait 24 hours for it to come through, your bank feeds, wait till you're sitting at a computer and you can deal with it. Not ideal, not how the world works. So instead, what we would always recommend is you deal with that there and then. And the way you do that in Easy Cashflow is you create what we call a manual out or an expense. So we have this second tab over here, this ins and outs screen, which I'll go to now. There we go. So we've got the second tab here, ins and outs, and this is where we can see everything that happens in our business, all the ins, all the outs. And if we look, oh look, there's that payment we saw before for $2,000. If I click on that, oh look, it's the same view we were looking at before. So this is everything you do in transactions also creates corresponding ins and outs, but we can also create our own manual ones and then match them later on. I'll actually show this on a mobile device because this is actually how most people do it. So again, everything I've shown you today is it works on both screens. If I just scroll down to refresh this, I think these will all disappear because we have indeed matched them all. We can see again the transactions that we've got here that we've already processed. On mobile, the menus are across the bottom. So if I go to ins and outs here, again, I'm seeing the same information. You can see it's all synchronized via the cloud. And in this case, I'm going to say, well, let's create my manual expense for my fuel. So I come into here, I'm going to add a photo. This is just my test simulated device, which is why there's no real photos. Let's use this pretty pink flowers that we've got. Again, because it's a simulated device, it's a little bit slow uploading. We'll get that photo in. We'll say, how did we pay for this fuel? And I can choose the account, or maybe I put it on a credit card. So I'll choose the account there. We can choose the date for it. We'll choose a category. We have one for motor vehicle expenses. If you wanted to create a specific category just for fuel, you could do so to keep everything nice and separate. It's entirely up to you. We'll choose the amount. Let's say $30. Yes, it includes GST. The supplier was, I don't know, let's say Shell. And if I wanted to, I could put my rego in here as well to keep everything nice and organized. So I do this on my phone. You know, I've snapped the receipt, I get it uploaded, quickly tap this in while I'm in my van, press save, done. I've captured it, it's all there, it's ready for me, sitting here. And then when that bank transaction comes in later on, and we'll see if we can do this. If I just change the date range on this to be slightly longer, we may have one that matches a similar amount. Yes, it does. Imagine this was actually the $30 transaction coming into the account from Shell. It's probably say Shell here. We click on it. It's already found the thing I created before. If we want to check, again, we can look at it and say, okay, there's the receipt. Yes, this is the rego. This was it. This is the day. Excellent. I can choose this, I can match it, that matches up the bank transaction now with the manual expense that I've created. And that is it. That is as complicated as all this gets. It's very, very straightforward to keep on top of all this. And that's why we've built Easy Cashflow in this way, to make it what we think is the easiest way to do this. It's the easiest way for you to keep on top of absolutely everything. And that means accurate reports. You can really see the health of your business really easily. It means your bookkeeper, your accountant, everybody else is really happy as well because they've got all the information they need to do their jobs. So that is what we've been looking at today, is the kind of core bank processing functionality of Easy Cashflow. Categorizing, matching, not sure, and also how ins and outs or expenses work manually, which we showed you on the phone. So that's it. I'd say last tip, even if you use your desktop all the time for doing your business admin, it's a really good idea to get the phone apps. We have an iOS app, we have an Android app, all the functionality works 100%, as I said before. And just being able to do things on the go really can change your workflows and can really make you more efficient and really help you keep absolutely on top of everything in your business. That's it from me today. So check out our support pages if you've got any more questions about anything or want to see any more videos or any help. But otherwise, that's it. So for now, take it easy.